Representative Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to explain my vote.
Please proceed.
Thank you. The genesis of this bill was an effort to provide some bipartisan relief to our school districts during an unprecedented time of crisis. I should know I sit on a school board, and my superintendent and some of my fellow board members who, to my knowledge, are not Republicans except for perhaps one, want and need this flexibility, and I'm hearing the same thing from other districts. Republicans stepped forward and sponsored this bill in an effort, again, to be bipartisan and to look at a solution that used common sense and put politics second. The people that were coming to us asking for this bill, in large part, supported our opponents during the elections. And yet, we listened to them, and we heeded their concerns, and we tried to address their concerns. We've been talking about doing this for nearly a month. In public, it hasn't been a secret. I've talked about it in multiple school board meetings, on TV. Other people have talked about it all over the place, in this chamber and in committee hearings and everything else. And yet no one raised any opposition. There was no organized protest against this bill or the idea in this bill until 2 days ago. Wonder why that is. People say it's not necessary and it'll be counterproductive. Well, let's look at the uncertainty that these school districts face. And it's a wide range. You've got districts that are losing money this year through no action of this legislature. That has nothing to do whatsoever with this legislature. And we still don't even know what those numbers are, much less any cuts that might have to happen in the 010 budget. Districts are losing approximately $70 per student in the Prop 301 money. Plus, they're going to end up losing probably another roughly $30 per student to backfill the overspending that happened because we overestimated 09 301 money. And we're hoping now that the $300 per student estimate for 2010 doesn't turn out too high, and we have to take some more of that back later too. The Indian gaming money is down. All that money is earmarked for teachers, which means that either we're going to have to cut salaries or cut teachers or both, or backfill it with money from some other source, from M&O. And then you've got the districts that had overrides fail. There goes another 10% of their budget. People have talked about, well, just raise taxes and then you don't have to cut education. Well, some of the districts tried that, and the voters already said no. The federal money is still unknown. Yeah, we have some idea, but we really don't know for sure. And some districts are going to be able to apply for grants here and there, and nobody really knows what the rules for that is yet. Nobody knows what the dollar amount's going to be yet. And then you've got some districts that have a high Title I population. They're going to maybe have more available to them than some other districts will. I know in Peoria, we're not going to benefit from that very much. So the 301 cuts alone are going to cost Peoria $3 million. It's about another 1.5% or 2% of our budget. It's small by itself, but when you start adding it all up, it's going to be tough. So now the question is, who do we send letters to if we don't have an extension on the deadline? We don't know what our bottom line dollar number is going to be yet, and we won't know for a couple of months, at least one more month, probably more like 2. Do we hope and pray, like this legislature did in the last 2 budgets, that the money's just going to show up and we won't have to worry about it? Or do we do the responsible thing and plan for the worst and hope it doesn't come to that, and send letters to people that we really don't have to lay off, which presents its own set of problems, as has been discussed? The bottom line is this bill has become unnecessarily partisan. This has been discussed for weeks, and there was no opposition at all that I ever heard until 2 days ago. And why is that? Because the AEA has said they don't like it. Because it undermines their power base, it undermines their control,
Murphy, you have 10
and
seconds.
they don't like it. And I think it's disgusting that anybody in this legislature would kowtow to something like that in a way that ends up hurting our schools and hurting our children. With that, I vote aye.
Mr. Murphy votes aye.